Ramada Oceanside Tower, Virginia Beach, Virginia.
Because he had friends who still worked at the company. He didn't want to cause any problems for any. Do that role playing. Sometimes that really just gives you the chance to see how much information you get. Now, when we talked about how much information there was, just let's go to lunch.
I didn't want to tell you guys a bunch of stuff.
I remember growing up here saying, I'm so sick of swinging your back. Hi.
Look out, look out.
Oh, give him a break.
How you doing?
Hi, I'm fine.
How are you?
Good to see you again.
You danced all night.
Oh my God.
I'm surprised you're up today.
Hi, Diana. Diana?
Hi.
Hi.
Hi there.
Yes. Yes. We'll put in an order form in there. You can send the order back and say who built it.
Okay. Thanks. That way I'll have a chance to find out whether they have one.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
I know that we've been to one before. I'm not a card carrier.
Yeah, that's why I got those here because I need some protein. I'm gonna need protein.
She reminds me. I look at her. Every time I look at her, I think of Eric.
Just proving that I was here. This is her first conference, and so far she's enjoyed it.
I'm enjoying it
That's
very
terrific.
much. Very much. Glad to be here.
You'll enjoy some of the states if you down to the hospitality room.
I'll be sure you do that.
We'll see you later.
Okay.
So she hasn't even had an opportunity to see her health plan. The turn in the president and the working dean is 1/3. It's quite windy outside today. 2 months, clouds. Some of our speakers checking out. I'm just doing some candidates, Floyd.
Except I used about a little bit of the Attorney General of Michigan jumped all over a bunch of them and got them under the Consumer Protection Act about failing to review arterial facts and all the usual stuff. So I've got about half a dozen copies of the assurance of discontinuance. So
I'm really interested because NACPI is going to have a.
Oh,
Conference has got a couple days to go. Oh. How you doing? Right, reading an article in the local paper concerning charitable solicitation. What do you think about that article, Mike?
Not bad. I've got a couple of minor quotes here, which are our standard flair that I've given Bob over the years.
You been able to use that in your program today? Or?
Actually, no, I think I will, Rick.
Yeah,
Because I'm going to talk about a little bit about public education, and I'll flash this up at the time.
Right.
Of course, it doesn't have my picture in it. That's the only bad
That's
part.
the only bad part.
That
When you're
is
very
bad part.
photogenic, I
I can't seem to get my picture in these articles. I don't understand it. Now, it's still always the real intent is to improve your skills and your knowledge and be constructed in that context. It's not just one of the work better. You get consumer pride, consumer fairness, and that's something that affects all of us. That's
and consults with one of our speakers.
The last few years because we've had some special fund programs, you know, in 3 grades, especially, registration fees and some things, which is sort of supplemented.
Really?
Right.
Very interesting. State of Mississippi. Had substantial amount, yeah, they're excellent.
No, yeah, I came over and sold it here.
Jackie's only for it.
And you guys didn't come to I stayed my room was right next door, so I was glad. Oh, I didn't remember. I didn't think, I mean, I was 12. But I had to call and check on my favorites. Oh.
And I'm having to flush yourself down in the same chair.
And somebody chose my chair, and that's why
No shaw's me.
So I think you're right.
Oh,
It's gonna go away.
I wonder, and then when I come to the table, I couldn't hear them. Sounds like Steve guys are so messed up.
You don't often get an opportunity to look at a lady's purse.
You don't want to look in it.
Tell him this is what my weekly paycheck is. Here, $2.
Right. People visiting just prior to the reconvening. We're so over the afternoon's sessions.
You know where I'm
No, I've got relatives down close to San Francisco. They live over there. So.
Dancing partners
Ah.
of last evening.
My friend's the dancing
Hi.
girl.
Rick is here. Hi. Oh, yes.
I've never
It's very commercial. You have to read.
Trying to get a feel for everything. So I think I'm gonna go out tonight unless something happens.
This proves you were here anyway, doesn't it?
Does anyone got you on film?
Yes.
Well, I usually shoot myself in the mirror. That's right. That's the only way I can. No, that's the only way I can see myself. Prove I was here.
You were here last night.
I was here.
Crazylegs.
Right. You didn't do bad either. So, nor your friends. Your photos, Pete. Tony likes to be on camera.
Oh,
Mix it together. Go ahead. Go ahead, you said. Go ahead.
Why don't you?
Yes. Yeah.
So few minutes talking.
That's right. Tony's going out tonight. He's taking his wife out on a
That's why I'm thinking about
anniversary.
If I ever make a phone call to get her out, my wife is gonna be staying home. And I'm going out.
There you go.
that's all right. I can think
Now,
of
did
next
you-
week. I can do it.
Did you flooded with memories last night?
Yeah.
Yes.
No, I'm still
Beg your pardon?
I enjoyed last night's play.
Yeah.
That was really good. The last year was great too. The shoot was much better.
Good afternoon, Mr. Redhart. How are you?
Very fine, thank
I'm
you.
glad to hear that.
All right. I was born fine.
I heard that.
I saw it on the Peter.
They'll be glad you.
Well, we're always new candidates of these things.
Beautiful.
That was a good time last night.
Yeah, it was. Good tour.
Right.
Good
Great
tour
tour.
without Parker.
I do think that that's a very good idea. Oh, well. Hey, somebody called me at 3 o'clock in the morning with a complaint. They just looked at home now, out of magazine in the publication.
They should have list your phone number and they should have listed your address.
Okay.
We're going to have to renegotiate that. Hi, how you doing? We were getting our picture. Yeah. I didn't even have a big smile on my face. Reconvene for the afternoon session. On a flip chart, and then the northeast region will meet in room E, which is selected in the fall.
suite, where they can move their competitive area. Again, the Association of Fundraising Councils put together a figure of $104 billion that is donated or was donated in 1988. Although people talk about the regulation of nonprofits, this may be nonprofit, but it is certainly very big business. A lot of money to be made, and unfortunately, a lot of people are making some money that's certainly not going anywhere near for the purpose that the public is led to believe. And the reason certainly for offices such as Virginia. There are really three major United States Supreme Court cases that have affected the regulation of charitable solicitation of all professional solicitors for the prior year in the state of Connecticut. Talking about how much money they raised, how much the charities received on average, and thereby, with their disclosure of what professional is actually calling it, the professional then, or the consumer would have an idea as to what percentage would go to the charity. In addition, now the charities would have a basis to determine, do I want to contract with professional solicitor A or professional B?
Education is the couple of little things they would put on the envelopes that you say, eat high fiber foods and go to your doctor and feel the same month. And part of the 35,000 is that.
In that particular case, actually they reallocated after the states showed them they were very bad. With that particular group, actually 35,000 did go to another organization conducting research. It's also interesting to note in that particular case, the gentleman who was the president of the American Heart Disease Research Institute was also the head of the foundation that received the entire $35,000 grant. Certainly no conflict of interest there. Now, what we see all too often, and where the problem of disclosure does come in a lot of situations, is a lot of these charities, in collecting $1 million, if you actually looked at what they spent to simply do mailings, pay fundraisers, postage, mailing list, etc., they may spend, say, $900,000 out of that million to do mailings to ask you for more money. As pointed out, what will also be contained in there is that here are 7 signs of cancer, or that cancer kills you, like you've been in a cave for 20 years and didn't know that cancer's running rampant. Or here's how to try and avoid, a heart attack, eat high fiber food, etc. When they do that, what the accountants are allowed to do is then allocate the majority of the expense incurred to program services. And the charity have basically programs, fundraising, and administration. The real test of a charity is how much goes actually for the programs. So when you take $900,000, you now allocate 60 to 70% of that to program. You're looking at a group that overall comes out with a pretty good percentage going to programs. And what the public is not aware is that although research is clearly part of the name of the charity, little or no money went to research.
Just really back to
You'll be able to see this in the hospitality room tonight. One on.
I have to prove I see her, right?
That's right.
My boss is here.
He'll be in this meeting till we're in.
Push the lemon while you're there.
Yeah, as soon as we get, just like put my hand. No, we can't, we got everybody in. Let them cross the hall.
First person.
Just come in, you get it.
After holding the button.
5, please.
6, please.
7,
8.
7, 9, 8,
9,
here, 5.
5,
11. Are you kidding? Come on now, you want
1,000.
Here's 5.
Here's 5.
all 5's off.
Thank you.
You should be playing your lottery.
It doesn't matter. Sure. Try to. 6. Virginia has a lot.
Yes, we do.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Right. You want to try it while you're here?
All right.
And maybe I'll win it.
Can't win in New Jersey, so maybe we can win in. in there.
Virginia just as well as.
I know in Maryland, Virginia, and DC, just as the oldest thing to take my money.
That's right.
But we got the instant Bizzles and shit. 7. Okay.
Next one is 8.
Right. Lucky number 8. They don't win it, lucky number 8.
Sky is beautiful. Waves roll slowly toward shore. At the busy beach. A lone figure moving along the beach. On the 8th floor. I'm shooting the conference center main lobby, but you happen to be in it.
The question that always comes up is what happens if you are an insurance salesman or a broker dealer and you happen to be registered as an investment advisor? Can you take both fees? Okay, and the answer to that is if you disclose that you are in fact getting both fees, you can in fact get both fees. That's a question that comes up fairly frequently. Keep that in mind. Then the next particular standard is in the business of providing this. In other words, if someone comes up to me and asks me a question about securities, and I'm a school teacher, this is a good security, and I'm not being compensated, and not, someone may take me out to dinner because they gave me advice. We wouldn't consider that an investment advisor. He's not in the business. It's not his or her businesses. And this becomes important when we talk about some of the exemptions, which I'm going to get to in a couple of seconds.
Session for the meeting tomorrow afternoon. Female Holmes and Andy Pantworker. Andy's moderating the session.
The statement, I would think, yeah, because this one, if they are different, this is the one that he's probably going to use as a regular address drop point. Whatever, this is maybe a very temporary type situation. So if you have any question, you may want to say, okay, where's the statement address? That's his address on his, on the front portion of the signature card. Where's the statement going to on a regular basis? And I think of a case where this really came in play, in a large money laundering case, the Orozco case out of New York, and he wanted to make sure he had control of the money, so he also has signature authority over the account, and the agents, when they were conducting the investigation, found that he also had signature authority over the account, were able then to tie the accounts to him. But the accounts were in another name and a nominee type name. Taking a look at checks. Hopefully there's nothing wrong with this check. But obviously we have the name of the individual, their address, in this case that address to take it to the FBI office in Denver. And you have the financial institution that's involved, their name, their address. Quite often up here you also have a telephone number, sometimes we see a social security number. Another number that you'll find up in this area anymore on a lot of checks, it's not on this one, but you may see a number up here, like let's say for example it says 8-81. Have you ever seen that on your check? It says a number like here. What that is that's the date that particular account was open. that may or may not be of assistance to you in your investigation. Now remember, one bank account that I had one time, my initial group of checks that I got did not have that number up there. But when I reordered like 2 years later or something like this on my checks, I found that little number up here, and it was the number that I had originally opened the account. So if you see that number, that's what it's in reference to. It may give you an idea about certainly how long the account's been open, and some time frame as to what you might have to expect to subpoena. You're going to have to go after 5 years if you're looking at 5 years of records, or 2 months of records. So you can see a number there. Up here on the check number, this particular check, a check number that low would be indicative that that's a relatively new account. However, let's say that check number we added a zero to that, and the check number was 1,020. Would that necessarily tell us that was a new account? Or an old account, would have been an old account. No, because it could have been a new account, right? We could have started our checks at 1,000 in a lot of locations. Now, I know that that's not true everywhere. Now, do some of you live in areas of the country where, in fact, you do have to start your checks at either 1 or 100? But they require that. There are some areas that they do. But I think most areas you can start the checks wherever you want. This company has insured agents for years, and all that does is insure me on my use of an FBI card. And all it does is repair the FBI card. There's no liability, nothing associated with that. That's just me and repairing the FBI card in essence. But and I've never had to use it. In fact, since I've been around. But that's the reason it's so cheap. There ain't a lot of usage on that. But down here at the bottom, you have these numbers inserted. When you get your checks, you'll have this group of numbers right in here on the bottom of the check. It's all put in magnetic ink. And you'll hear an expression called micro numbers. Magnetic ink character recognition numbers. And they're all put in so that they can be machine read. And down here, as we'll see later, we'll have the Federal Reserve District, the specific branch within the Federal Reserve District, and that particular bank number. And so what happens is when that check goes to something called the proof department at a bank. Now, anybody here ever been in a proof department of a bank? Did you work there by chance?
No.
So you just took a tour? Or worked in a bank? If you ever get down on your job, go to the proof department of the bank, right? It's probably the most, the most encouraging thing to keep your employment as it is. You have a situation where project, I'm going to be a big spender. But it's still my favorite charity. So, I sent that check in. We now roll around to the end of March, early April of the following year. And we all know what comes around about that time. And I'm getting ready for my annual April 15th party. And in preparing for my annual April 15th party, I start going through all of my records and so forth. Got back and I said, Ron, you're hurting. You're hurting. It's not a happy day. You've got to do something to get well. Quickly, I go through all these deductions, and I don't have a good situation there for deduction. I said, well, you know what? Being a big spender that I am, I saw, well, here, I remember when I did that $100 check, that was the size of the good old ex-wife charity. There's that check. This is the same hand that wrote that check. This is the same pen that wrote that check. And in the paper reduce this. I think I can probably write a nice 3. And I can probably squeeze in here a 30. And I go through with my big eraser now on my tax return and right on down. And all of a sudden I have gone from this sick condition to I am well. Things are looking good at the Cleveland household family. So send this in. Send all, not this, but send all my tax papers in, so forth. Well, they go into those magical IRS computers, and the IRS says, the computer says, $3,100 to XYZ charity for Cleveland, who has never given more than 50 cents to this charity in the past. We need to have a talk with man. Some wire transfers, and especially in some fraud wire transfers, you'll hear them referred to as a PUPID, P-U-P-I-D wire transfer. And that's pay upon proper identification. And we're running, and part of the wire transfer fraud schemes we run into, we see more of them, I think, probably in the PUPID area than any, where a wire transfer is made, and as opposed to going to some account, because wire transfers, the biggest user of them are business. You have, down here in Virginia Beach, let's say we have some shipbuilding company here that is ordering steel from somewhere in Pennsylvania. And they'll issue a wire transfer payment for the steel that's being shipped, or it's already been shipped here to the shipyard. And the payment will be made by wire transfer. The biggest wire transfer business is corporations, and they are sizable wire transfers. An average wire transfer in the United States is over $1 million. So they're big bucks when you're talking wire transfer.
Usually several $100,000.
Yeah, and that's not even like I do a little wire transfer, like maybe when you're settling on a house or something like that, you'll do a wire transfer for funds. That's hardly, I'm sure the bank said, what kind of Mickey Mouse wire transfer is this? Do you think banks have just always retained all these records and they've had a requirement for them to retain records? What? State statute, federal statute, which one might see?
We have a state statute that requires retention.
This is the quiz. This is the quiz.
We have a state statute that requires retention for 5 years.
Very good. It was probably based on, I'm assuming it was probably based on the Bank Secrecy Act of 1970. The Bank Secrecy Act of 1970 had 2 major provisions associated with it. One was a record-keeping function, which required the banks to maintain all of these records. Very summarized, but they basically have to keep the checks for 5 years, signature cards 5 years, records of transfers in and out of the U.S. of $10,000 or more for 5 years that we're talking, if our situation. Is the second portion of the act.
Legislation, room 400, number right here. House, yeah.
The dolphin are most popular
But we need to get close to trial, we're not going
sections of the.
that's the term. And so that's something that's gonna change. You have to be looking at money, you got to set up the experts to have certain time schedules and look on the capital decisions.
Just outside of our hospitality room, where the wind is quite strong. Very shortly, everyone will be convening here. Here's again. This is waiting to enter into the roads and in all probability awaiting a pilot to assist. World famous waterside. Turn out a little wild blue yonder. It's space. And just below us, you can see Octopussy, one of 007's vessels. You're going to say Octopussy, aren't you?
That's right.
Move on. I'm going to move in on that. Not dredges, but barges. They moved around the harbor.
I think we have a nosy for it, Jay. See what we can find.
Hi.
Hi, what is this for?
This is for posterity.
Posterity?
Right, you know, posterity. Nice breeze, about 7 to 10 miles an hour. Maybe it's more like 5 to 7. Where you're from?
Hey,
From Connecticut.
on the way to Miami.
Oh, that's terrific. Really, I'm from
Yeah.
Holyoke. You know where that
Thanks for
is?
boss.
Where are you? New Haven or
Stanford.
Hartford? Stanford.
Stanford.
Oh, I see. Well, this would be a nice trip for you.
Well, it hasn't been thus far. It's been very rough thus far.
Is that right?
We're hoping for some nice weather.
I hope so. It seems to break today.
Yeah, it does.
As we head for the Spirit of Norfolk. Standing up here having a discussion. Somebody with glasses in the beard. Must be the captain, huh? They got 4 stripes.
Well, we got it down to 141, 1, 2, 3. I don't have a ticket. Happy, right?
Rick, I'll sing and dance if you like. A little soft. Let's see. We gotta sing a sea song here, right? Way down upon the Swanee River. No, this is the Elizabeth River. Way down upon the
Elizabeth River.
How's that?
Far, far. I should have brought my harmonica.
All right. There you go.
More crews are wheeling up the harbor here.
Yeah, I used to live outside. Right.
Norfolk, Virginia, and Waterside. First good one of a number of bad days following the advent of Hugo, which very fortunately missed Norfolk and Virginia for the most part. Harbor. And this has a telephone lens which zeroes right in on that cat. A little stern wheeler is floating us there.
That was the best day we've had.
Part of it.
What'd you get in here?
This is really a cool thing.
Advanced fast. There are additional restrooms on the second deck, all the way out. If you have any questions about the safety program about the restroom,
How'd that guy? How'd that guy? Very good, man. Good for y'all hiding over here.